The door slammed shut, a drunken hiccup echoing through our cramped Brooklyn apartment. And my heart stopped when I saw him, Jake, my straight roommate, stumbling in with whiskey on his breath and secrets in his eyes. His broad shoulders swayed, his flannel shirt half untucked, and for a moment, I thought he'd collapse right there in the hallway. I'd spent 2 years hiding my feelings for him, but tonight, something in his gaze told me everything was about to change. I'm Ethan, 23, a graphic designer scraping by in New York City, sharing this shoebox of an apartment with Jake, the charming, infuriatingly straight jock who's been my best friend since high school. We met in our small Ohio hometown, where I was the quiet kid sketching in the back of class, and he was the football star who punched a bully for calling me a fag. He didn't know then that I was gay hell. I barely knew myself, but his easy grin and protective streak hooked me, even if I swore I'd never let it show. Tonight, though, Jake's different. He's not just drunk. He's unraveling. His hazel eyes, usually bright with cocky confidence, are glassy, searching. Ethan, he slurs, kicking off his boots and nearly tripping over the rug. I gotta tell you something. My stomach twists. I've heard him ramble about girls, his job at the bar, his dreams of opening a gym, but this feels heavier, like he's carrying a weight he can't hold anymore. I guide him to the couch, my hands brushing his arm, and I curse myself for the spark that shoots through me. He's straight, I remind myself. Always has been. But as he slumps down, his head lolling back, he grabs my wrist. You ever feel like you're living a lie? He mumbles, his voice raw. I freeze. Is he talking about his breakup with Sarah last month? Or something deeper? My mind races, but I stay quiet, letting him talk. Jake's life hasn't been easy lately. He moved to New York with me after college, chasing a dream of independence, but the city's been grinding him down. His bartending gig barely covers rent, and Sarah's departure left him hollow. I've watched him mask it with bravado, but tonight, the mask is slipping. I thought I knew who I was, he says, staring at the ceiling. But I don't know shit, Ethan. I sit beside him, my heart pounding. I've spent years burying my crush, convincing myself it's one-sided. I came out to him a year ago, and he was cool about it, thugged me, said it didn't change a thing. But it changed everything for me. Every late-night talk, every time he crashed on my bed after a party, I've been fighting the ache of wanting more. Now, with his hand still on my wrist, I'm terrified he's about to say something that'll break me. He turns, his face inches from mine. You're the only one who gets me, he whispers, and my breath catches. His fingers tighten, and for a second, I think he's going to kiss me. But then his eyes flutter, and he slumps forward, passing out against my shoulder. I sit there, frozen, his words echoing in my head. What did he mean? Was it just the whiskey talking? Or is there something he's been hiding too? I carry him to his bed, his weight heavy against me, and tuck him in like I've done a dozen times before. But as I turn off the light, his mumbled words linger like a ghost. I head to my own room, unable to sleep, replaying every moment of the night. The city hums outside, indifferent to the storm brewing in my heart. I've spent years building walls to protect myself, but Jake's words are a crack in the foundation. Tomorrow, I'll face him, and I don't know if I'm ready for what comes next. The morning light spills through the cracked blinds, and I'm already awake, nursing a coffee and a headache that's more emotional than physical. Jake's still asleep in his room, probably oblivious to the bomb he dropped last night. His words, "You're the only one who gets me," play on a loop, each repetition tightening the knot in my chest. I'm at the kitchen counter, sketching aimlessly on my tablet, when Jake stumbles out, looking like he's been hit by a truck. His hair's a mess, his eyes bloodshot, but he still manages to look unfairly good in his rumpled t-shirt. Morning, he grunts, pouring coffee. I nod, avoiding his gaze, afraid he'll see the hope and fear warring inside me. You okay? I ask, keeping my voice neutral. He shrugs, sipping his coffee, but there's a tension in his shoulders I haven't seen before. Rough night, he mutters, and I wonder if he remembers what he said. I want to ask, but the words stick in my throat. Instead, we fall into our usual routine, him scrolling on his phone, me pretending to work, the silence heavy with things unsaid. By noon, Jake's back to his charming self, joking about a customer who tipped him in quarters last night. But I catch him glancing at me when he thinks I'm not looking, his expression unreadable. It's driving me crazy. I've always been the careful one, the one who overthinks, while Jake barrels through life with a grin. Now, though, he seems lost. That afternoon, we head to the park, a ritual we've kept since moving here. It's a crisp fall day, the leaves crunching under our sneakers, and for a moment, it feels like old times. We toss a frisbee, laugh at a dog chasing its tail, and I almost forget the weight of last night. But then Jake stops, his breath visible in the chilly air, and says, "You ever think about what you'd do if you could start over?" I blink, caught off guard. Start over how? I ask, tossing the frisbee back. He catches it but doesn't throw, just holds it, staring at the ground. Like, if you could be someone else. Someone who doesn't fuck everything up. His voice is quiet, and it hits me like a punch. Jake's always been the confident one, but now I see the cracks: his breakup, his dead-end job, the pressure to be the guy everyone expects. I want to tell him he's enough, that he doesn't need to change, but the words feel too close to my own feelings. Instead, I say, "You're not fucking anything up, Jake. You're just figuring it out." He looks at me, his eyes searching again, and I swear there's something he wants to say. But then he tosses the frisbee, and the moment's gone. Back at the apartment, we order pizza and watch a game, but the air's different now. He's quieter, and I'm hyper-aware of every move he makes. Show his knee brushes mine on the couch, how he laughs a little too hard at a bad commercial. When he heads to work that evening, I'm left alone, staring at my sketchpad, drawing his face without meaning to. I've spent years hiding how I feel, but last night cracked something open, and I don't know how to close it again. Days pass, and Jake's words haunt me, but he acts like nothing happened. He's back to his routine work, gym, flirting with girls at the bar, but I catch the moments when his smile falters, when he stares out the window like he's somewhere else. I'm drowning in my own head, torn between hope and fear that he meant what he said. One night, I'm working late on a freelance project when Jake comes home early, sober this time. He drops onto the couch, rubbing his face. "Bad day?" I ask, closing my laptop. He nods, then surprises me by saying, "Can we talk?" My heart leaps into my throat, but I nod, sitting across from him. He tells me about his dad, a stoic ex-Marine who raised him to be a man and never show weakness. Jake's always idolized him, but lately, he's been questioning everything his dad taught him. He'd lose it if he knew I was struggling, Jake says, his voice tight. He thinks emotions are for weak people. I want to reach out, to tell him it's okay to feel, but I just listen, letting him spill. Then he looks at me, his eyes intense. "You're different, Ethan. You're real. You don't pretend to have it all together." I laugh, nervous, and say, "I'm a mess, Jake." But he shakes his head. "No, you're honest. I wish I could be like that." My chest aches. Is he saying he admires me? Or is there more? The conversation shifts to lighter things, but the weight lingers. Over the next week, Jake starts opening up more about his fears, his doubts, the pressure to be someone he's not. I'm falling harder, and it terrifies me. I've seen him with girls, heard him talk about his type, and I know I don't fit. But these moments, when it's just us, feel like they could mean something. One evening, we're cooking dinner well. I'm cooking, and Jake's helping by stealing bites of pasta. He's laughing, relaxed, and for a moment, I let myself imagine this is our life, not just a fleeting moment. Then he says, "You make this place feel like home. You know." And my heart skips. I mumble something stupid and turn away, afraid he'll see the truth in my eyes. That night, I lie awake, wondering if I'm reading too much into his words. I've spent so long protecting myself, but Jake's breaking down my walls without even trying. I want to believe he feels something too, but the risk of being wrong is paralyzing. Still, I can't shake the feeling that we're on the edge of something big, something that could either save us or shatter everything. A month later, things are both better and worse. Jake's opening up more, but every moment we share feels like a tightrope walk. I'm falling deeper, and I hate myself for it, because he's still Jake, the guy who dated Sarah, who flirts with waitresses, who's never shown a hint of being anything but straight. One Friday, he invites me to a bar where his co-worker's band is playing. The place is packed, the music loud, and Jake's in his element, charming everyone. I'm nursing a beer, trying not to stare as he laughs with a girl at the bar. Jealousy twists in my gut, but I push it down. He's not mine, I remind myself. He never will be. But then he comes back, his arm around my shoulder, and says, "Let's get out of here." We end up at a diner, sharing fries and talking until 2 a.m. He tells me about his dreams, not the gym, but things he's never shared, like wanting to travel, to see the world beyond what his dad expects. I tell him about my art, how it's the only way I make sense of my feelings. He listens, really listens, and when he says, "You're going to be huge someday, Ethan," I believe him. Back home, he's tipsy again, and I'm sober, guiding him to the couch. He grabs my hand, pulling me down next to him. "Why are you so good to me?" he asks, his voice soft. I shrug, my throat tight. "Because you're my friend," I say, but the word feels like a lie. He looks at me, his eyes searching, and for a second, I think he's going to say something big. But then he laughs, ruffles my hair, and passes out. The next day, he's back to normal, but I'm a wreck. I can't keep doing this, living in this limbo where I'm his best friend, but want so much more. I decide to talk to my friend Mia, who's known me since college. Over coffee, I spill everything: Jake's words, my feelings, the unbearable hope. She listens, then says, "Ethan, you need to tell him. You're killing yourself holding this in." I know she's right, but the thought of confessing terrifies me. What if he rejects me? What if I lose him completely? But as I walk home, I realize I can't keep hiding. Jake's changing, and so am I. Maybe it's time to take a risk, even if it breaks me. I spend a week psyching myself up to tell Jake how I feel, but every time I try, the words die in my throat. He's been distant lately, spending more time at work, and I wonder if he senses something's off. The apartment feels smaller, the air thick with unspoken truths. One night, he comes home late, sober but exhausted. He collapses on the couch, staring at his phone. "You okay?" I ask, sitting across from him. He sighs, tossing the phone aside. "Just tired of pretending," he says, and my heart stops. Is he talking about us? About himself? Before I can ask, he tells me about a fight with his dad, who called him a failure for not having a real career. "I'm trying to be who he wants," Jake says, his voice breaking. But I don't even know who I am anymore. I want to tell him he's enough, that he doesn't need to be anyone else. But instead, I say, you're not a failure, Jake. You're you. He looks at me, his eyes soft, and for a moment, I think I see something desire. Maybe, or just gratitude. But then he stands, saying he needs a shower, and the moment's gone. I'm left alone, my resolve crumbling. Mia's words echo in my head. You need to tell him. But how do you tell someone you love them when you're not sure they can love you back? The next day, I find a note on the fridge, gone to clear my head. Back later. Jay. Panic grips me. Is he avoiding me? Did I push too far? I spend the day distracted, my sketches turning into chaotic scribbles. When he finally comes home, he's quiet, but he sits next to me on the couch, closer than usual. Ethan, he says, his voice low. I've been thinking a lot. About us. About everything. My breath catches. Is this it? Is he about to say what I've been hoping for or dreading? He hesitates, then says, You're the best thing in my life right now. My heart soars, but before I can respond, he adds, I don't know what I'd do without you as my friend. The word friend stabs like a knife, but I nod, forcing a smile. That night, I lie awake, torn between hope and despair. Jake's words are a lifeline and a cage, keeping me close but never close enough. I know I have to tell him the truth, but the fear of losing him is stronger than ever. Still, I can't keep living like this. Tomorrow, I decide. Tomorrow, I'll tell him. Tomorrow comes, and I'm a nervous wreck. Jake's at the gym, giving me time to rehearse what I'll say. I pace the apartment, muttering to myself, trying to find the courage to confess. I've loved him for years, and even if he doesn't feel the same, I need to be honest for my own sake. When he comes home, sweaty and smiling, I almost lose my nerve. We make small talk, but my heart's pounding so loud I'm sure he can hear it. Finally, I blurt out, Jake, I need to tell you something. He looks at me, curious, and I take a deep breath. I'm in love with you, I say, the words spilling out like a flood. I have been for years. I know you're straight, but I can't keep pretending I don't feel this. The silence is deafening. Jake's face is unreadable, his eyes wide. I brace for rejection, for him to laugh it off or worse, to leave. But then he steps closer, his voice soft. Ethan, I don't know what to say. My heart sinks, but he keeps talking. I've been confused lately. About a lot of things, including you. My mind reels. Is he saying what I think he is? He runs a hand through his hair, looking conflicted. I've never thought about guys before, he says. But you're different. I don't know what it means, but I know I care about you. A lot. My breath catches. It's not a declaration of love, but it's more than I expected. We talk for hours, the conversation raw and messy. He admits he's been questioning his identity, struggling with what he's been taught versus what he feels. I tell him about my own journey, the fear of coming out, the years of hiding. For the first time, we're completely honest, and it's terrifying but liberating. By the end of the night, nothing's resolved, but something's shifted. He doesn't say he loves me, but he doesn't pull away either. When he hugs me goodnight, it lingers, and I feel a spark of hope. Maybe he's not ready to love me the way I love him, but he's not running. For now, that's enough. The next few weeks are a strange, beautiful limbo. Jake and I are closer than ever, but there's a new tension, a question mark hanging over us. He's not ready to label what he feels, and I'm trying not to push. But every touch, every glance, feels electric. We spend more time together, movies, walks, late-night talks. He opens up about his fears, his dad's expectations, his confusion about his feelings for me. I listen, my heart aching with love and patience. I've waited years. I can wait a little longer for him to figure this out. One night, we're on the roof of our building, the city sprawling below us. He's quiet, staring at the stars, and I can tell he's wrestling with something. "Ethan," he says finally, "what if I'm not who you think I am? What if I can't be what you need?" I take his hand, my voice steady. "I just need you to be you, Jake. Whatever that means." He looks at me, his eyes shining, and then he kisses me. It's soft, hesitant, but it sets my world on fire. When he pulls back, he's shaking, but he's smiling. "I don't know what I'm doing," he whispers, "but I want to try." I nod, tears in my eyes, and we sit there, holding hands, the future uncertain but full of possibility. The days that follow are a mix of joy and fear. Jake's still figuring himself out, and I'm learning to trust that he's in this with me. We don't tell anyone yet, it's too new, too fragile, but every moment we share feels like a step toward something real. Months later, Jake and I are still navigating this new thing between us. It's not perfect. There are moments of doubt, arguments about what we are, what we tell people. But there's also love, raw and real, growing stronger every day. He's not ready to come out, and I'm okay with that, because I see the effort he's making, the way he's choosing me despite everything he's been taught. One night, he comes home from work, his face lit up with excitement. "I told my sister about us," he says, and I freeze, waiting for the fallout. But he grins. "She said she's happy for me. For us." I pull him into a hug, tears streaming down my face. It's not his dad's approval, but it's a start. We're not a fairy tale. Jake's still wrestling with his identity, and I'm still learning to trust that he won't break my heart. But we're building something together, something honest and brave. That night, as we lie in bed, his arms around me, I realize that love isn't about perfection, it's about showing up, even when it's hard. Looking back, I think about that drunken night when Jake stumbled home and broke me with his words. I thought it was the end, but it was the beginning. We're both still figuring out who we are, but we're doing it together, and that's enough. The city hums outside, but in this moment, it's just us two guys who found each other in the chaos, choosing love over fear, one day at a time.